Tech by Tips.
Hello and welcome to another Tech by Tips video. There is one person that donated to the channel and I wanna give this person a shout out. And this person is Robert Van Santen. Thank you very much for your donation to the channel. It is really appreciated. You are a rock star. Thank you very much for your support. Today's video is going to be a kind of a short one, and this is based on a video request that I got here that was posted in the installing QBitTorrent with VPN video, and that comes from David J. Seligman. And it says, during the application configuration, you mentioned that you will touch upon proxy server configuration in a separate section. Where can I find that? So we're going to be talking about the proxy server configuration for QBitTorrent, but specifically in this video, I want to cover how it works, what are its limitations, and why it's better to use a VPN instead of a proxy. Because a proxy, yes, gives you a little bit of privacy, but it is not foolproof. It makes torrenting difficult, and a VPN bypasses all of that. So I'm going to talk about the different options that we have in QBitTorrent. So if we go into the QBitTorrent UI, we will see that when we go into the configurations and we go into the connection, there's a section here that says proxy server. And you have several options. You have SOCKS4, SOCKS5, and HTTP. So I'm going to be covering all the different options are, what are the differences, and why you would want to use SOCKS5 if you're trying to go with a proxy instead of a VPN. And other settings that we have to put in here to validate that everything works and protects our privacy. So let's go back to the presentation really quickly. So what happens when you are running your QBitTorrent without any proxy or any VPN at all? So what happens is your QBitTorrent client establishes a connection directly to the torrent tracker and joins the pool of members that are participating in that specific torrent or magnet that you are trying to contribute to or acquire. And what it does is the torrent tracker logs your IP. So that immediately becomes known in the group of members for the torrent. And then whenever you get something from another user or you share to another user, then that user can see your IP because it is logged in the tracker. So there is no privacy. Your IP is clearly exposed, and that's why a lot of people get into trouble because of that. Now, there is an HTTP proxy that you can configure for QBitTorrent. But the problem is that the HTTP proxy specifically is pretty much useless. Your connection is open, so you can see the log is open. So your ISP can see what you're doing. And with the HTTP proxy, even your IP is logged into the tracker because it doesn't really hide your IP. So you would expect it to have the proxy IP here, but in reality, it does not. It keeps your IP and exposes it, so it doesn't really protect you from that point. So anyone can see your IP here in the tracker. So that's why you should never use HTTP proxy. Number one, it also breaks your torrent process. It leaks your real IP, and it is not designed for peer-to-peer connections like torrenting. So you should never be using an HTTP proxy for torrenting. Now the next option, which is the SOCKS4 proxy, kind of works. So it does work for protecting your IP if you're doing TCP only connections. But the reality is that torrenting focuses more on UDP connections. So anything that goes through UDP, it's not going to protect your IP. And again, all your connection is open, it's on plain text, so your ISP can snoop on your traffic. So that's another thing. It is better, you can use it, but it's very restricted. There's no protection for UDP. It does work for peers, but only on TCP. So you're risking exposing yourself anyway. So the only real option that you have is a SOCKS5 proxy. And what does it do? Well, it is the only one that hides your IP from the rest of the peers and the tracker. So the tracker is only going to log the IP of the proxy. And that's a machine in front of you and behind the torrent tracker. and it still is going to send all the traffic through plain text. So your ISP will be able to see that you are torrenting, but it'll just see that you're torrenting to a proxy. And it does allow you to connect to the peers, and the peers will not see your IP, but you need to make sure that you disable specific features so that there's no leakage of your IP, because it could happen. And that is with the DHT, the PEX, and IPv6. So you need to disable any of those things. But the good thing is that it is a reliable proxy, works for torrenting, and it is pretty fast. So in summary, a proxy should be your last resort because it doesn't really protect you. It doesn't hide your traffic. It only hides your IP if you're using SOCKS5. So a VPN is a better option because the VPN puts everything under a connection that doesn't look like it comes from you. So I wanted to cover that really quickly. We have covered that. So now, how do we configure a SOCKS5 proxy in QBitTorrent? Because that was a question in the request. Well, we go into the settings, and there's a few things that we need to do. Remember, I said that for the settings, we need to make sure that some things are disabled. So we go into the BitTorrent tab, and where you see here that it says privacy, you need to disable DHT, disable peer exchange, and disable local peer discovery to find more peers. So that is going to remove those things that leak your IP through those types of requests. Now, if you're using IPv6, you should disable IPv6 and use only IPv4. That's the two things that it mentioned that you need to have in order to have a more secure connection with a SOCKS5 proxy and it doesn't expose your IP. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to go into the connection tab. And in here, I have already configured a SOCKS5 proxy that I found. So it is a SOCKS5. I just went online and I searched for free SOCKS5 proxy for the sake of the video, and I found some lists. So I went into this one, sockslists.us, and I picked this one in New York that it's easily accessible. So I put the IP of that in here. So if you go into the torrent client, that's the IP, and then the port is 12345, which is what it lists in here. So now, another thing is some proxies, especially like private ones, if you have maybe a VPN provider that provides you a SOCKS5 proxy, they might need authentication. So if that's the case, you click here and then you put the user and the password that you need to connect. But in this case, I don't need it, so it's disabled. And make sure that you use the proxy for BitTorrent purposes and for the peer connections. So that's the way you make sure that all your communication for BitTorrent goes in through the proxy. And then you save this. And now basically we're ready to connect to a torrent to download things. So I went into DistroWatch and I looked for the torrent for Debian to do the test here. And I want you to see what happens with the proxies and why it is complicated and it breaks your automation. So let me add that torrent that I have here. I saved it in downloads test. So I'm going to say that should add this, upload the torrent. So it's going to show up in here. You're going to see that it stalls. And it stalls because I had to disable the DHT and the PEX, and I'm making sure that all my traffic goes through the proxy. But even a SOCKS5 proxy can break basic functionality for torrenting. So you will likely see that it stays stalling here unless you somehow get it to connect to the first set of peers in the network. So just for the sake of the video, right, because I want to demonstrate this, if we go back here and we enable the BitTorrent options here so that it tries to establish those other connections that allow it to find peers, then we should see that usually after a little bit of time it is able to connect to some peers, and then the traffic starts flowing. But again, it's going to be slow because there's extra things that are happening in there, so it breaks your automation. So let me give it a little bit of time, see if it decides to start downloading. Alright, I have given it a little bit of time, even with that enabled, and using this free proxy, it's not working for me. So let me switch that public proxy for the one that my VPN provider gives me and see if that makes any change. And I'm gonna disable also the options here for the QBitTorrent network and see if that works with that closed private proxy. Alright, now we can see that it started working with a private proxy that is provided by a VPN company or another company that charges you for the proxy. It didn't have any issues. It did have issues with a free proxy that you can find online. So definitely you're gonna need to have probably a paid proxy for this to work. But it did work. It was able to connect, and now it is connecting to the different peers that are in the network. My IP is not being directly exposed because I'm going through the proxy. So this is the important thing. It did work with the connection settings disabled. So it is just a matter of making sure that you have a good, reliable proxy service behind your connection, and then it will work. I have limited the connection to 10 kilobytes per second so that it doesn't go too fast and end the video. But as you can see, it is working with my restrictions and everything is looking good. So this is how you configure a SOCKS5 proxy in QBitTorrent so that you can do your torrenting through a proxy. But remember, your connection is open text. Your ISP can see what you're downloading. And if that is a concern for you, their recommendation is use a VPN instead. If you cannot get access to a VPN and your only option is a proxy, then go with a SOCKS5 proxy that is private. It will likely require you to pay for it, and also have the authentication credentials so that you can connect to it. But it does work, as you can see here. So it's very straightforward, short video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Leave me comments in the comment section below, because as you can see, a lot of my videos are based on requests of things that you would like to see or questions that you have based on videos that I have uploaded. I try to help you out whenever you let me know that you're having issues or you are curious about things like you see in this video. So feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you like the content and you found it useful, you should have noticed there was no ad on my video because I'm not monetizing the channel, but that means that the effort that I spend into making these videos yields me no returns. So if you want to support me, feel free to donate using the link in the description below to PayPal. There's also a Bitcoin wallet address if you prefer to do it that way. So yes, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.